I can't tell if you can see me at all, but hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a Sunday Stuff and Things, and on this Sunday Stuff and Things, we have stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things YouTube and Stuff and Things Patreon. We're going to talk about AI a little bit. I got a message from somebody or a comment from someone on YouTube, or no, was it on Patreon or YouTube? I can't remember. They were asking me about my usage of AI, whether I'm using AI. I even hate the term AI, but we'll get into all this. I want to talk about a cool little vintage flash that I got from my Leica M4. We will get into your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings. And then, of course, at the end of the video, we will have Patreon shout-outs and updates, what you can look forward to exclusively to Patreon this coming week. So let's get into it. All right, so what can you look forward to on Stuff and Things YouTube and Stuff and Things Patreon this coming week or in the weeks to come? First of all, this week, exclusive to Patreon on Monday, it will post. Is it Monday? Yes, Monday, we will have the GLP's Bankside full review. We did the first impressions video a couple weeks ago on Patreon, a really interesting blend, a blend which inspired a brand new term from me, Vaporkia, a Virginia, Perique, Darkfire, Kentucky, and Latakia blend. Does that still count as a vapor? I'm not sure. Watch the review on Patreon. If you're a Patreon supporter, $5 a month gets you in. You can watch all the the exclusive pipe content that I post on there, archives, and all sorts of good stuff. Bankside review coming up this week, exclusive to Patreon. The week after that on YouTube and Patreon will be 1 month with the Leica M4. So I've had my Leica M4 now for a little over a month. Where is my Leica M4? It's in here somewhere. And in that time I've done, I guess now I've shot about 10 rolls on it, but when I did the video, I had shot about 8. And I was just going through some of the pictures I've taken, the kinds of pictures I've been able to take with my beautiful Leica M4. So be sure to check that video out. It's a really cool look at just what I've been doing on my Leica M4. We go through a lot of cool pictures. Well, I shouldn't say they're cool because I took them, but a lot of interesting pictures, and it's a cool video. Not the full review yet. We will do a full review of the Leica M4 coming up soon, but a nice little check-in as to what I've been accomplishing with that Leica M4. And then the week after that, exclusive to Patreon, will be a fun video that I just recorded. I found a jar, and on it was this label. Hopefully that is coming through on camera. I can't really see my screen, but it says B Victor Vapor, August 31st, 2014. So this was my attempt at mixing myself, at blending a pipe blend myself. I bought just an unbranded Red Virginia from a local brick and mortar that no longer exists, and I got St. James Perique from that same brick and mortar, which no longer exists. I combined them together. I put them in a jar. At the time, I didn't think it was very good, but this has 11 years on it. So I thought this would be interesting to check this out, my very first attempt at blending at home. And now that, you know, my tastes have changed, I've been exposed to so many different blends, also with 11 years on the blend, how does it taste now? So that's going to be coming up. It's a pretty fun one on Patreon exclusively as well. Lots more coming up, both on YouTube and Patreon. Please stay tuned. There are people several rocks over just staring at me as I'm doing this right now. And I find it very off-putting. Okay, so we had a missive from our good friend at Josh Stivers. I think this was just on YouTube. And Josh says this: Hey Bradley, question for you. More and more AI tools are being pushed in several industries, including my own. You mentioned that you've used ChatGPT, that's not easy to say. It doesn't roll off the tongue. You mentioned that you've used ChatGPT in the past. I was wondering if you're still using AI tools like that to speed up your workflow, and if so, are you concerned about losing your own proficiency at this task, or at the task that you're offloading to AI? Thanks, and cheers. Well, thanks, Josh, for the question. This is something that's been coming up a lot, obviously. Everyone's talking about AI, and everyone is using the term AI for things that I don't think really should be considered AI. You know, people talk about ChatGPT as an AI. It's not really. It's a large language model. It's not an AI. It has no intelligence of its own. It's just, I don't know, we won't get into all that, but people are using generative tools to do all sorts of things. It's kind of hard to get away from now. When you go on Google now, the first search results you will get will be from their, quote, AI, which is often wrong, by the way, but I don't know. It's something that is a buzzword. Everyone's talking about it. And as far as how I use it, I don't at all. I never use it, ever. When you mentioned me using ChatGPT, that was years ago when people were first talking about ChatGPT. I think what did I say? ChatGPT. I asked it a couple questions. That's it. That's the extent. I haven't really used it since. I don't pay for any apps. I know that if you pay for ChatGPT, you can do images and all sorts of things with it. I've never done that. I've never used it for anything. I know a lot of people use AI tools to make thumbnails for their YouTube videos. They might use it to help write scripts for their YouTube videos. They might use it as their main search engine. Instead of searching for something on Google, they will just ask ChatGPT a question. And it's interesting because my little brother does that a lot, apparently. He'll say like, oh, you know, I want to do a workout that will focus on these certain body parts, and what would you recommend? And then, of course, the quote AI is not actually answering the question. It's just scraping the internet and recycling information that some human has put on the internet and then spitting it back out at you. So I have a lot of ambivalence towards this use of AI. I don't know what younger people are doing if they're using it extensively, but I find it irritating that whatever AI is supposedly spitting out at you, it is something that a human has already put on the internet and they're not getting any credit for anymore. I don't know if I will ever use AI for anything consciously. I don't use it for anything photography related. I do all the editing and everything of my pictures myself. I don't use it to render anything. I know some people use AI tools to put different backgrounds in their photographs. Like, I don't do anything like that. I don't use it for any script writing. I don't usually have scripts for my videos anyway. I'm just speaking extemporaneously. I don't use it for anything. And I don't know if I ever will. It's not like I'm a Luddite who is completely opposed. I'm sure there are use cases for AI tools that would make sense and that wouldn't be just thievery. But as of now, I don't really see any point in it. I may eventually try to fool around with a tool like ChatGPT in the future. I can't see myself paying 20 bucks a month though. So I don't know, my usage for it would be limited. But it's an interesting question that keeps coming up. I know that it gets used a lot on YouTube now, and they even have a checkbox that you can click for whether or not you have used AI extensively in your video. And even on Instagram now, they want you to check whether or not you have been using AI for the image that you've created. I never do on YouTube. I can't see myself ever really doing that unless it's just for an experiment or for fun. But thank you for the question, Josh. It's relevant. Okay, I need to rummage around in my bag here. But as you all know, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I got this beautiful Leica M4 a while back. I've been loving using this. I'll place this down here. I want to adjust this a little bit. The light keeps changing out here. So, the Leica M4 is an old camera. This one is 55 years old. But even modern Leica film cameras are kind of old-fashioned in certain ways. So the absolute fastest shutter speed you can get on a Leica M film camera is 1/1000th of a second. And the fastest flash sync speed you can get on a Leica is about 50 or 55. It's 1/50th or 1/55th of a second, which is a pretty slow shutter speed for film sync. On my Nikon FE2, I think it's 1/250 I can get for flash sync. not going to get into all this, but basically what that means is if you go any faster than that shutter speed, you will probably see some of the shutter in your camera or on the film or in your image after you take the picture. It's not syncing up properly with the flash. So I could shoot anything under 1/50 on this camera or anything slower than that, but if I go any faster, the chances are I will see the shutter in the image and it won't work with the flash. So that kind of limits you on when you can use flash on a camera like this. Some people like to use daytime fill flash, where even if it's kind of a sunny day, if you catch somebody who's silhouetted, you will have shadows over their face and you maybe won't see their face clearly. So they'll use a fill flash during the day to kind of just fill in that detail on the face. But in order to do that, you would have to have a much higher flash sync speed, because if I shot at 1/50 on a sunny day like this, even if I was at f16 or f11, the flash would just blow out the picture entirely because there's just be too much light coming into the camera. So the only real use case for flash on this camera is in an indoor environment or at night. And I did think that I might want to do that sometimes. Like if I go out, sometimes go out to bars or places like that, or indoors, I would like to have a flash for this camera, but I wanted to find something that was very small, very unobtrusive, something that wasn't going to be a huge hassle. Like I can't have a giant, Nikon film flash on top of this camera. It would just be massive. So I found something very cool. There's a brand called Sunpak. I don't know if they still exist actually, but they're a Japanese company that made a lot of flash units in, decades past. And I found this little one here called the Sunpak Auto 101. And it is great. So look at how tiny this thing is. Here it is next to my hand. I wanted a flash that had what they call, I believe, a thruster. I wanted an auto flash. So you can get modern manual flashes, but I needed it to do several things. First of all, the Leica M4 does not have a hot shoe. It has a cold shoe. So there is no actual, the camera cannot trigger the flash through the shoe. What it does have is a flash sync port. It has two actually on the back of the camera. There's one here, and then this is for bulb flashes. So this is the flash sync port. And so I needed a flash that could interface with a PC sync port, one that actually had a cable. I mean, you could buy your own cable, but most modern flashes do not have a PC sync port on them. They just rely on a hot shoe connection, which my camera does not have. So I needed flash PC sync. I also wanted it to be auto. I didn't want it to be just fully manual. So it has this, which is called a thruster, I believe, that will actually measure the light as it bounces back off the subject, and it will shut off the flash to give you a proper exposure. So it has this handy little chart on the back here that shows whatever film speed you're using. I'm always using film speed 400. So at 400 film speed, you set your range, or you set your aperture to 11, and then it'll give you distances and everything. So with this flash, all I have to do is I pop it on the cold shoe, like so. It's not super tight on the cold shoe, but it'll stay on there. Then I just kind of give it a little wrap around here, maybe from the other direction, so I don't have the cable winding around everywhere. I plug it into this little flash sync port here, and then I set my aperture to 11. I set my shutter speed to 1/50. There is a little like flash mark on there, like a little lightning bolt on the shutter speed dial. And then that's it. You turn it on and it'll charge up, and it's a great little flash. It's perfect. It's the perfect size for a Leica like this. And the great thing about this, it was $6. I went on eBay and was just looking for really small, compact auto flashes that had a flash PC sync port. And I found this. They were, $6, $7, $8 on eBay. I bought two just in case. One of them didn't work. This one did. It seems to be working perfectly. It takes two AA batteries, and it's great. So I'm definitely going to start incorporating this into my photography with my Leica M4. And if you are looking for a flash for an old film camera that does not have a hot shoe, I highly recommend checking out these old Sunpak flashes. They have so many different models. This is just one of the most compact auto ones that I could find, but just absolutely great. Love it. All right, gang, but now it is time for hashtag #AskStuffandThings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, you can tweet at @SATBradley, but you shouldn't because nobody does. Or if you're a Patreon supporter, you can write to me via Patreon and go right to the front of the line. And you can hit that super thanks button under this video and go right to the front of the line, or you can leave questions, comments, and feedback in the comment section of my YouTube videos. Let me adjust this once again. I can't really tell if that is good or not, but we're just gonna leave it right there and hope that it's okay. All right, so we have some feedback from last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. We were talking about my new hat, my Walls Velocity or Velocity wool flannel cap. We were talking about the Sonicare toothbrush that I bought last year, which was kind of sad that that was something that I was looking forward to so much. So we have @BatWithGlasses who says, "Is that a new chapeau? Nice toothbrush. It's the little things." And that's right. It is the little things that you can look forward to. @Corbin Bourbon says, "It's okay. I have a new pair of shoes on the way, and it's the big news this week." Again, little things that you can look forward to that help make the boring grind of the week go by a little bit more quickly. @Les Brady says, "Dude, when I went from analog to Sonicare, I was just as excited as you. It's like you've never brushed your teeth before." And yeah, and like I mentioned in that video, I've had a Sonicare for decades, but it was so freaking old that it was just kind of like, it wasn't really doing anything. And when I put this new Sonicare in my mouth, my Lord, yeah, it feels good. It feels like a real brushing. @Tom Brown 1898 says, "What's old is new again. Sometime back in the 60s, the family got an electric toothbrush. I had no idea that people had electric toothbrushes in the 60s, with a different color head for each of us. Somehow we didn't seem to get much of a thrill out of it. And the camera with the waist-high viewer seemed like an update of the Kodak Brownie box camera my mother had back in the 50s. I'm old. Fun show today." Yeah, there are a lot of cameras that had a waist-high viewer. There are the cameras like the Rolleiflex, that's the, it's not an SLR, it's a you say single lens reflex for the old-fashioned film cameras that aren't rangefinders. But they had dual lens cameras like the Rolleiflex that has a focusing lens and then a framing lens, and then you would look at a viewfinder from up above. You would just have a screen there. And there are actually some old Nikons and stuff where you can take the prism off the camera and just look at the image at waist high as well. So definitely something that I do a lot with my digital camera because it's kind of convenient. @Xander2234A says, "The Nikon P1000. So someone was asking about a cheaper alternative to get into nature or wildlife photography, and I gave a couple examples of something you might want to check out. And Xander says, "The Nikon P1000, it's a point and shoot all-in-one. It's about $1,200 at the moment. And a friend bought one when it came out and takes great pictures." So there you go. It might be an option. I don't really know anything about that particular camera. And next, we had the video last week about the Craver Rana 15 leather camera/laptop bag. We have a little bit of comment, or we have a little bit of feedback on that. We have @CH who says, "Nice bag." And yes, it is. You should check out that review if you haven't. And then @Blake's Pipe says, "Well, I have a bag already, so this bag did not speak to me. But I thank you for the review, and looking at it, it looks like a nice bag and will last longer than mine." I don't know. I don't know what kind of bag you have. I don't know if you have a camera bag or a grocery bag, a carrier bag. But yeah, this bag will probably last quite a long time. It is very well made. Thank you all for that feedback. Please keep it coming in. It really helps make the show go. My exposure is probably so horrible, I just cannot tell at all with the screen. It was kind of overcast, and now the sun is starting to come out. I'm probably totally silhouetted, but that's okay. Because now, gang, it's time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Remember, if you would like to support Stuff and Things on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below, and it's pretty much the only reason I'm able to keep doing this. Your support on Patreon means that I can keep making these videos, I can keep posting things to YouTube, and I can keep posting exclusive pipe videos to Patreon. If you support us on Patreon, $5 a month, you get access to all the old pipe videos that I am slowly posting on Patreon, all the archives of the old pipe blend reviews. You'll get all the new pipe stuff that is exclusive to Patreon, but then you also get access to the YouTube videos early and ad-free. So your support helps a ton, and every week we like to shout out those who support Stuff and Things at $25 or more a month. People like Jason Buckner, Arcturus, Ashes of the Phoenix, Jonathan Proctor, The Friendly Piper, GreatGrol, Glenn, Just Glenn, David Severin, Nicholas James, Kyle Whitmore, Mr. Gibson, and Chris Caughey. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support Stuff and Things at $100 a month, people like Bob Magee, and we'll never forget our dearly departed friend and Hall of Fame member, Peter Straub. Now, what can you look forward to exclusively on Patreon this week? Well, this Monday will be the GLP's Bankside Review, a very cool Vapor Kia blend. So check that out. And then from the archives on Thursday this week, we will have my original review of Dunhill Early Morning Pipe, which was from June of 2015, so 10 years ago. Not one of my favorite Dunhill blends, and I didn't love it then. I did a revisited of it later, still didn't love it. Fun review, check that out. 2 exclusive videos to Patreon this week, and more coming every other week. But until next time, until we meet again, I'm your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience has been Stuff and Things on a Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later. You know, they got rid of those outhouses I was talking about earlier, and there's no longer any long grass, so not sure what I'm gonna do.